Much is going to change. Hi, everyone. This is Susanna Aaron. I'm the vice chair of the Parks and Waterfront Committee, which is the meeting that we're holding tonight. It's only 6:31, so we're not going to start anything for a few minutes, and we'll see who else might join. Now, I cannot see. There's something in the chat. Oh, I see participants. Oh, look, Mark, you put the agenda in the chat. That's so nice of you. All right, we have 4 attendees. So, well, Elizabeth is a public member, so we should
promoting
promote
her
her to panel. Oh, you're doing that already. Okay, great. And we don't have Therese here yet. I will mute myself.
There's a phone number. Whoever is 917-443-2133, could you please identify yourself? I'll let you talk.
Oops, no talking. Someone is not talking.
If you're on the phone and you're trying to unmute, I believe it's *6.
Hey, Eddie. And look, there's Rich Cacapolo. Why, Rich, you look so bronzed. 917-443-2133. Can you unmute yourself and just tell us who you are? You're an attendee, but I have you as a panelist too. Okay, whatever.
Really?
Well, no, not as a panelist, but I'm seeing you on the screen.
Oh, that's because I clicked that they could unmute, and so that puts it into your feed.
Rich, do you want to kick us off at 6:33? You want to wait a few minutes? What would you like to do?
How many people? I'm having trouble seeing how many people.
Well, so Bright, do we have quorum? That's a fair question. We have Frederica and Ben and Shirley and Susanna and Elizabeth and Eddie and Rich. That's 7 of us. That has to be quorum.
Well, certainly do, and clearly the most important. No, it's that's plenty. I think we're down to 8 as a committee now. 8, 10 with 10 or 11. So yeah, we've got quorum.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I should take that back because Elizabeth, you're a public member, so you don't count.
I don't think I count.
No, but that's okay.
So we're 6.
6 of 10 or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows, Ritu has resigned from the community board. So yeah, she just didn't have the time. So she's obviously not on our committee anymore. So, but thanks everyone for joining, and thanks everyone for joining on Zoom. Sorry we couldn't gather together in the office. Welcome to the February 2026 meeting of the Parks and Waterfront Committee for CB2 Manhattan. I'm Rich Cacapolo. I'm the chair of this committee. Let's go around and have everybody introduce themselves.
So shall I start? I can. Shirley Secunda, a full board member of the committee.
Frederica Siegel.
Eddie Siegel.
No relation. No relation.
That we know of.
Susanna Aaron, vice chair, and also I promoted Therese Flores to panelist.
Eddie's my dad, I should say.
Chris, you want to introduce yourself then?
Oh, yeah, I can go. Sorry, my internet was slow. I'm Ben Listman, board member of the Parks Committee.
Elizabeth Gilmore, former board member, public member of Parks and Waterfront.
Chris Dignas? I'm getting a... Can you hear me, Chris? You're sort of frozen. And
it's
Patricia?
very cold in New York.
Yeah, it's winter. We're all frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I hear you.
Are we good?
Chris, we can't tell if you can hear us. Can you give us a thumbs up if you can hear us?
Yeah, my computer wasn't doing well, so I'm fine now.
Great. So just introduce yourself to the
Oh,
meeting.
hi, I'm Chris Dignas. I'm on the community board. I'm on the Parks and Rec Committee, Parks and Waterfront Committee.
Well, thank-
Patricia?
No, Trisha's not. I see Jeff made a joke about frozen and ice jokes. That was funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Let's are we okay to get this? And you said Teresa's on too, right?
Yes, Teresa's on. Do you want to read the agenda?
Sure.
Is it
So
in the chat?
actually, it probably make it look so easy. But the truth is, it's really hard to choreograph these meetings, to get agenda set and to get people that will come speak to topics, etc. But this one was easy because I asked our great liaison to the Parks Department, Teresa. I said, "Do you have any topics you'd like to discuss?" And she just rattled off three. She was like, "I want to talk about the irrigation systems that we talked about around the needs assessment." She said, "I want to talk about dogs in parks. I want to give you some rules on that." And then she said, "I need some volunteers." So I said, "That's a great agenda. Let's do it." So she needs volunteers for snow shoveling. So I said,
Great.
that would be great. Let's do it. We've got her here with us. I think she's on mute right now. But
Yeah, can you hear me?
yep, I can hear you now. And let me just turn it right over
Great.
to you and let you cover. It's your agenda. And then thank you proactively or for joining us and for proposing this agenda.
Great, thank you. What's the first topic? Are we going to go with the dog topic first?
No, irrigation was first, I think.
Irrigation. So, I know we had talked about getting funding for irrigation, but I think until we can get that funding, there's a desperate need if we have a dry summer and spring like we've had in the past, to get help with watering when we get long dry spells. And just having a person twice a week watering and making sure the plants aren't dying in their parks is a big part of the help. You know, the complaints is what directs us to notice things. And it really helps me if those complaints are direct, like especially straight to my text message or a phone call or an email, because it helps me to direct staff what priorities are and where we're getting complaints. And if we have eyes on our plants and on the health of our parks and horticulture and trees, it helps me to get those resources over there. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what the irrigation and watering topic is just getting somebody twice a week at each park where we have horticulture, where we don't have a partner or a gardener right now. We just lost our gardener for the district for CB2, and we're not going to be able to get a backfill. Sorry, I'm out in the I'm on the cold because I couldn't hear where I was. So now I can't hear here. So we're trying to get as much help as we can, just wherever we can, while we have that loss of our staff. I'm going to be supplementing where I can personally, having my interns help. But if you're willing to look out for your local parks, and I know a lot of you have signed up to do that, the main thing is just looking out for the health of our plants and trees that often get overlooked. Like people don't really see that maybe that does need some water. And that's what I'd love to hear, have help with. If I can't get someone holding a hose, at least I have someone's eyes that can tell me, hey, this is looking dry over here.
How do you advertise that need?
Well, this is how I'm advertising it right now. I'm really just playing wherever I get an ear. Especially when I have someone who complains via 311, I'll actually call them and say, hey, are you interested in just looking out for the park since you're there and telling me about how it's going? And it really helps me to keep on top of things.
Is there any way we could help with that?
Does it make sense for us to have on our website, like if you notice, you see something, say something?
Absolutely. Calling 311 or just giving my email address helps me to hear from our neighbors where I need to focus.
Well-
Even on something as public as our website?
We have a new, we have a weekly
Absolutely.
e-blast. We have a weekly e-blast. We have a lot of people on there that can receive that message, and we can make that, we can repeat that message often. But I think we go back to the idea now that we have our 32 open spaces in our district, that we've all got 3 or 4, that we signed up to be responsible for. We should, it should be one of those things that as a point person for that space, we try to find somebody. If there is an existing group that's there, maybe they already have somebody that looks after the watering and you can connect them. But if not, maybe one of the things we can try to do as point persons is to find, some volunteers.
Could we put up signs?
Yeah, and I can find a way to make those signs really nice and with the park logo.
That's a good idea. I like that one.
I'm thinking about all the people who sit around in Washington Square Park.
Yeah, and that might be, yeah, I'm not sure you'd want to step on Will's toes too much. They must, I mean, maybe without the gardener, but I think they probably have a protocol or a schedule. I was thinking more, and the ones we highlighted during the conversations around the needs assessment were the spaces, if you remember, sort of the west side of Sarah Valley Playground, that area, and that just didn't have irrigation systems, and so it's harder for people to lug water there.
Right.
And also, like
But-
Washington Square Park has an administrator, which, the little
Yeah,
parks
well-
don't have.
Yeah. But again, I think there's not gonna be one solution. I think each one's gonna be different based on, what systems they have in place, whether they have,
Right.
faucets or whatever,
but
and
I-
then,
It wouldn't hurt to ask Will if he.
Yeah, he's going to be there next community board meeting on a couple of Washington Square Park topics.
Yeah.
One of them being the dogs and the dog run. So yeah, I mean, I can ask him to speak on that. He does help. He sends me his volunteers to
Yeah.
like places like Little Red Square and Golden Swan, and so I fully think that he supports me in any way. So I can't see why it would be a problem until we can
That's-
find a way through Will to also put a plea out for that.
that's a good point. They do, if you said, I'm sure you're right. If we said, hey, Will, could your volunteers also support the pocket parks on 6th Avenue? I'm sure that would be something they'd be very supportive of.
Yeah, he's been doing that too, which I really appreciate.
I think we'll have a little leeway, because as this ice melts over the next 5 months in the city, there'll be some watering there, but it's a joke. Okay.
So
yeah,
regarding the west side, I don't know if you saw my hand, regarding the west side of Sarah Valley, that abuts the meatpacking.
Yeah,
And they're very cooperative and they have watering covered.
that's
So
good.
if you're really talking about the most western side, I think it's worth reaching out to them.
Well, that was one that was highlighted as a place where the plants, wither sometimes because.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a great idea. That's a good example of another solution that might be somewhat, unique to there, is that there is a group right next to it that does handle the watering. So
Right.
yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, but whoever's the point person for Sarah Valley, maybe you can do an intro. We can get that one covered by the meatpacking group.
Rich, I was going to suggest maybe we could just sort of expand out our spreadsheet with more columns for, has
Yeah.
water on site, needs water brought in, that kind of thing.
Great idea. Yeah, go for it. That anyone can edit that thing. It's you're all editors of it. So
Cool.
yeah, let's do that. Great. Okay. Cool. Well, Bruce, you got anything more you want to say about that, or?
No, I think that's it. I think that covers it. It really helps to see you guys are are on top of it. It's very easy to ask with you guys. Thank you.
Well, Jeffrey made a point there that maybe local landlords can be drafted in to do it as well, which is a good idea. Cool. All right. Do you want to move on to the next one? The next one was the dog topic. Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to share with you a standard of operating procedure that really outlines where we put dog runs and why. It's like a design consideration specification that talks about what parameters really make a dog run functional. So I know that Sixth Avenue Playground was a big topic, and then I know that there's a few other places that you guys were thinking of. So I think that just helps you to understand what we consider. And then also, having the off-leash rules in parks where we don't have dog runs is a standard for us as well. And on the website, I can share the link to all the sites where we do have off-leash.
Okay. Did you say something about Will wanted to comment at our March meeting on this? In terms of the question of Washington Square Park, did you say that?
Did I lose you? Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Did you hear me?
Yeah. We heard you.
You broke up. Say that one more time.
Let me turn off my video. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have an echo.
you have an echo. Yeah.
Oh, so do
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. I think everybody does. Yeah, true. What I asked was, is Will going to discuss in March? You had suggested that he wanted to come talk to us about Washington Square Park. Was this one of the things?
Yeah, so Will is going to bring that topic up again next week. Next meeting. So when Will is here, he's going to cover that for Washington Square. I'm just going over the generalities of it. And I know you'd asked for what the fines are. So, the first fine is $100 to $150, depending on what happens. And I think it's at the discretion of the court. And then the second fine can be up to $250 or more. Sometimes they add on what are called failure to comply violations because people get upset and they don't want to, be told not to put their dog off leash, or, they don't want to be told to put their dog back on a leash. So, they won't comply. So that's another reason why those fines go up. And when it's a repeat offense, those fines continue to stay higher because they're a continuation of that, because we keep track of the violations. And we have what they're called dog details, where they go to all the parks and they issue those summonses.
Yeah. We had seen that. Ben was looking up some of the tickets. There's a database, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, we sort of guessed that was it, first time, second time, and then if there was an issue, or then
something like that. I think it's just in like I don't know, there's like a park regulations page, or maybe it's in the local law or something, but yeah.
Just there's a question: are there any off-leash downtown locations on your list?
They're listed on the park's website, so I can send the website link as soon as I find it. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know offhand of any parks that have off-leash.
Yeah, I know Central Park is one. I know Riverside is one. They're mostly in the large parks where there isn't a dog run. So those are the bigger spaces that kind of have the right parameters for less noise complaints and more space for being able to do that with the right kind of security so the dogs don't run in traffic and things like that. Or there's, there's not conflicts with other uses like sports or playgrounds or stuff like that.
I have a question. Is the people, sorry, is Washington Square Park still a problem in terms of people putting their dogs off leash?
Yes, and I think there was a complaint that we fielded at the community council, and Will had invited someone to come to the meeting and maybe speak here, unless they want to wait till the next meeting when Will is here to specifically mention Washington Square Park.
Okay, I urge people to look at the chat it might be easier to look at the chat while we're on Zoom if you can. There's some comments in there. I see one from Lynn. Yes, okay, anything else on that? I think the idea there was to give some guidelines and of both what's going on in parks today and what the potential is for dog run spaces going forward. So she shared that some of the links there. And then we wanted the discussion about Washington Square Park more specifically, we can have Will cover. We said we wanted to give some advance notice to people to come and talk about that. So I think if we shoot for March, we can make sure we publicize that topic so that people on both sides of that issue can come. Okay. Okay. The third topic was snow removal, which never happens anymore.
Well, there's a lot of things that are compounding this year's snow removal effort. One of them, I think everybody's heard from the news of the sustained temperatures. Nothing's melting, and there's nowhere to put it. And it's hard to remove because there's nowhere to put it. So it just gets moved around back and forth. We shovel, they shovel, people shovel their cars out, and it's a constant battle. So it's very hard at the corners where we have crosswalks. So our staff, including, DOT, DSNY, DEP, are all going out and cleaning these crosswalks and catch basins, and just hoping for warmer weather and not another dump of snow. So any help we can get, I've actually appealed to Green Thumb to help out at LaGuardia. And if you guys can help me, if anybody wants to come out and shovel and help, I'm willing to connect them to where we need help, especially where we have older volunteers who really, need a little extra help with this because it's heavy work as ice. It's a lot of chopping. It's good exercise. I'll give you that because I'm definitely sore. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. It's not going away, and it's just a constant labor as we try to find somewhere to put this stuff because it's not melting.
Just to clarify, you're talking about crosswalks or paths around the parks and open spaces, correct?
Yeah, right now we have a challenge even opening up pathways to our bathrooms. So a lot of them are closed wherever we haven't been able to open up a pathway. And also our hydrants, we're staying on top of those. Our bus stops, we're staying on top of those. And the bus stops across the city. We had a detail recently where we did all of CB1 on Church Street and on Water Street. And they did a lot of uptown areas where we did a lot of sidewalks with DOT and DSNY. So it's been an all-out effort to try and get everywhere that's a priority done, not just parks.
Any questions on this?
Can I chime in? Can you hear me?
Yes, please go.
I'm really sympathetic to the Parks Department needing help in the parks. But the idea that, and maybe this is so unusual that it's all hands and it doesn't matter what people are doing. But in general, I feel like it's the city's obligation to clear the sidewalks, to clear the intersections. If they want to enlist the businesses that are at the intersections or who aren't cleaning their sidewalks, then I think that's great. But I think it's overstepping to expect volunteers to clean intersections. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking. Oh, I'm just asking for any help with the green thumbs, especially where we have
Okay,
like
that
LaGuardia
wasn't
Corner
clear. That
Garden.
wasn't clear. No, thanks.
Mitch, you're muted if you were.
Yeah, anyone else want to ask a question to Therese?
No, I'll just say that I noticed walked around some of the parks in my neighborhood. I know it's a very difficult challenge, and I'm sure you and many people in the city are getting a lot of complaints here with a pretty difficult situation that we haven't seen in quite a while. So, getting empathy from me for the challenges you're facing.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Rich, for what it's worth, and whenever we're ready, I'm noticing in the chat there are some
Yeah.
questions and people might like to comment, speak. So just
Yeah,
passing that along.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I see that. Yeah, sorry, this was a difficult meeting in that people were all on Zoom, but what we really want to do on the conversation around the dogs, let me write in the chat, but any more questions on the snow removal? Frederica, I think that there were some specific cases. I think Ben, it was, for example, Ben, you were asked, if you could help out. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, in the email you sent, you specifically mentioned as an example, like, LaGuardia. So, like, I mean, I live right here on that block. So, I mean, it depends on the time and day, but I'm certainly around here if help is needed in that area, Therese.
Well, apologies if I misunderstood, Therese. But I heard you talking about, intersections and if they're park intersections, if I could, I would go out and help you.
I'd like to talk about LaGuardia Corner.
Yeah, it's mostly because I talked to Jeffrey and I'm sympathetic. At Liz Christie downtown also we have a lot of older volunteers that I worry about that if I need to bring a shovel out, I'm going to try and pull some together and bring them out wherever people need them. Especially at the community gardens and I reached out to Green Thumb to support that as well because I know it's bad and I know it's hard and it's only going to help everybody for us to clear a wide enough path on all of our perimeters. So it's these green thumbs are not really under the direct maintenance and they're not as high a priority as like our school parks. And not that we have as many in Community Board 2, like we do in Community Board 3 and Community Board 1. But I think the green thumbs are the ones that are needing the most support right now.
Can I speak? Can I speak? I can't hear you, Rich. Okay. I talked to Teresa about this, and I'm with her. I think that the green thumbs need help. I think LaGuardia Corner Gardens has a pretty good system of volunteers that come out and at least can keep some of the pathways open. I think that the adjacent business to us is very negligent in their attendance to the snow problem. They never snow clear the path between our garden and their building. Perhaps they don't think it's their obligation to do, but as we are mapped as roadbed, and that would be the sidewalk, that is the sidewalk that's adjacent to the building, and they're a commercial business, and commercial businesses are supposed to clear the sidewalks adjacent to them. So it really is their responsibility. To carry that a step further, across from the community board office, and you're not there, so you can't look out the window now and see it, but I'm sure you go there fairly often. And when you do, if you look across Bleecker Street, you will see that where they have pushed the snow from in front of their initial door, is over to the west, which makes a fairly large mound adjacent to the what we call the north plot, which is LaGuardia Corner Garden's north plot. And it is the side that is on the on the store side. But that pile of snow, although it's not in anybody's way right now, will in fact be what melts and becomes the puddle or the ice skating rink that we will experience in a week or two, or if, as Rich says, the next 5 months. So I think it would be helpful if the community board, which is essentially a branch of the city, as opposed to an individual like me, could go to the business like Morton Williams and ask them to clear the path that they are not clearing that they should clear. Now, they don't have a machine. I understand they do it by hand. So I'm sympathetic to that because I have been in there, broken up the ice of the pond that is on that problem that everybody knows about. And I know it's hard work. I'm 77. I don't think I should be doing too much more of that. I think it's time for me to let others do it. Anybody who feels like doing it, we have tools for ice chipping and snow shovels that we'd be glad to lend. We have our vice chair manages our volunteers. We divvy up our garden into 25 plots, but approximately for snow purposes, teams of 3 or 4 of those plots are responsible for 1 or 2 weeks during the winter. That is for cleaning, picking up trash, removing snow, anything that's a problem during their exterior, during their period of time. My week is coming up mid-February. I did one just before Christmas. Those teams work together. They communicate by text. They say when they're going to go out, and they work together to get it clear. We are only capable of keeping that 2-foot wide walkway on LaGuardia and the north side of the garden, and in between a little path. We can't take on the other side. Somebody else has got to help there.
Understood. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, landlords are supposed to clear in front of them, and I think businesses are supposed to clear in front of them. And I'm not saying we should relieve them of that responsibility. And this may be a special occasion, a special event where the snow has stayed around a lot longer than usual. But so I hear you, Frederica, and I hear you, Jeffrey. I'm just trying to find a middle ground here on what is a bit of an emergency situation. Again, something we can help communicate without. I'm not so sure we have to set up a process for every time it snows, because as we know, most of the time it goes away pretty quickly. But
Rich, I can tell you that our volunteers who do LaGuardia Corner Gardens are not prepared to go a step further and do the time landscape, which the West Broadway side never gets shoveled.
Further south,
yeah, there's just a limit to what we're already doing more than, and we're volunteers. So business should do what they.
Yeah, but I think when you're in front of a park there like that, there's no business that's necessarily responsible, like the Tam landscape run, right?
But businesses.
505 does send their plow around between time landscape and their property. So that portion of the pathway between Bleecker and Houston on the west or the east sides of both the time landscape and the LaGuardia Corner Gardens, they are not done equally. Only the one south of us, 505 has done. If they had done all the way up, then people would be able to pass on both sides. But they don't, because it's not theirs, 505. It's NYU's property. It's Morton Williams' responsibility as a business. You see what I'm saying? Take a look at that pile and you'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy Time Landscape, Jeffrey. I think I can send the crew there for another sweep, because they need to keep that open at Time Landscape, because that is a green street. Unlike the Green Thumb, it's a different operation.
But if we're going to ask the meatpacking to go out of their way to do Sarah Valley, why can't we ask NYU to do a little more?
Please do.
Yeah, I don't think you meant to pose that as a question. I think it's a more of a statement, and that's, you know, we should. I mean, somebody's responsible, as Jeffrey's saying. We just have to figure out who that is. Yeah, I mean, Therese, if you go by there and take a look, and if you have a sense, and Jeffrey, of who that should be, we can, as a community board, we can reach out to them and say, hey, you're not doing that which you're responsible for.
Got it. Yeah, no, I'll be going there probably tomorrow.
Any other places like that that are that people need to that would be valuable to point out to Therese? Any other parks or open spaces that come to mind as problematic right now? Any others that you're aware of, Therese, where you use some more help?
Yeah, we have a little bit of difficulty at Pasanante. We keep going back by. We actually lost our gator, which has a plow to it. So we're doing everything by hand now, which slowed us down a bit. And we're trying to get that gator back in service.
Okay. Well, if there's any others that come up, please send it to us and we'll send it around. We'll try to get volunteers in this again, which I think is a special event. And I go back to the committee members. I know it's really cold and dangerous. And if you do go out and cover your point, the locations for which your point person, and you see any issues, please, with snow removal right now, please do communicate to us all and we'll see if we can get some people to help out. Anybody have a projection?
Thank you.
I don't think it's 5 months, but I think the governor declared a state of emergency through the 22nd of this month. So that there was thought that there wouldn't see a lot of melting until then. But you know, this whole thing about, I mean, salt will work between 32 and 15 degrees, and then it won't work below that. So I think there's a sense that we've got another, you know, 2-3 weeks of this. So if you find something, Teresa, please tell us and we'll try to rally some people.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. I know on the other thread, the goal tonight was not to have the full debate on the dog discussion. We want to do a real committee meeting on that, where we publicize it well and we get people on both sides, because there are people who they're fearful of dogs or are worried about dogs running into traffic or whatever. The goal tonight was to get Therese to share two things. One, guidelines on potential locations for more dog runs, not off more dog runs, and then some thoughts on examples of other places with off leash. We can set the March meeting. We have a couple things in March already, but the goal was to have a meeting where we could get a bigger space, so have a real hearing like we used to do, where we have people on both sides be able to come and speak. So please allow us to do it. I mean, what we're asking for here is some big decisions. This isn't something to take lightly. These are potential dedications of spaces to dog runs, and also, you know, the off leash thing is a conversation that is a change of the rules. So I wouldn't want to do it when we're all remote. Let's do it when we can come to a bigger room, and we can ask Mark to try to find us a bigger room and have a real public hearing.
Rich,
Yeah.
do you want that for March or when?
Yeah, I'd like to. We have
Okay.
another topic in March that will take up some time, which is the presentation of the demapping of Little 6th Avenue at Spring Street Park. But these would be the two topics for March.
All right, I'll see if I can get the school. Maybe that's
That'd
not
be
too that's not too far from Little 6th Avenue, and
Yeah,
it's a big room.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I'll work on that.
So that's a good example. Little 6, that is part of, well, it's going to be separate from, but tightly associated with Spring Street Park. This is a good test for our new point person program. Coral had volunteered to take responsibility for Spring Street Park. So she's going to help choreograph with the team there that is doing the presentation. And we'll hear that on our meeting in March. Okay. Any other new business anyone wanted to raise? Um, okay, if not, thank you all for making time during this period to join. And I guess we'll try to see everyone. Mark, do we have is full board going to be in person?
The only meetings that, this is the last meeting that's going to be all Zoom as far as I know. The governor's state of emergency lasts until February 22nd, but it can be rescinded more or less at will. And there hasn't been a decision that I'm aware of to hold any other meetings entirely virtually. If there's a desire to have that, that would be something that you'd address to both me and the chair would decide.
Okay. So I guess we'll see everyone at full board and at full board. So thank you all for joining, and try to stay warm, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you guys for joining and commenting. Bye.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay.